What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another week of the Kentucky Derby update here at racingdudes.com. Well, we've got a lot to update. We'll kind of recap what happened last week, look forward to what's coming up this week, and then, of course, we'll talk about the new top five. And we've got some new horses in there, at least one new horse for sure. Well, let's recap what happened last week, and we'll start with the Remington Park Springboard Mile. That happened on Friday, and a little bit of an upset here. Coal Battle, the one horse, gets the job done at like about 6-1 in that race. Beat the favorite, the number 3 Speed King. So if you didn't see the race, Speed King kind of takes over, puts away Dr. Ruben M over the top of the stretch. Looks like Speed King's going to go off and I wouldn't say win like going away, but win it like it's fairly impressively. And then all of a sudden, here comes Coal Battle up late and gets it done just at the shadow of the wire to win by a narrow margin. So Coal Battle, of course, a horse that had raced against Poster, and of course, Poster won the Rimson the weekend before. So I think that kind of boosts Poster a little bit. Although when they faced each other, it was on the turf. So yet another turf horse coming over and winning a dirt race. Although Coal Battle had a win on the dirt as well. So look, average race, neither one in the top five. Both of them, I think, moving forward, talking about Coal Battle and Speed King out of this race. I think you'll see him in the early Oaklawn Park races, and I think they'll probably fit in pretty well. A race like the Smarty Jones or the Southwest, I think, is kind of where they'll kind of target next. So Coal Battle, Speed King, put them on your radar. Don't get overly excited about them. That's what I would kind of recommend there. Let's fast forward to Saturday. A couple of things happened Saturday that I thought was they were very eye-catching. First, we'll start with the most obvious one, the Los Alamitos Futurity, in a race where I, admittedly thought Gaming would be a pretty easy winner in this one. Well, we had an easy winner, but it was not Gaming. It was the number 5 Journalism, and I think you better take a look at this one. Now, to be clear, Getaway Car was second. I don't really think he's a horse that's going to be great on the Kentucky Derby Trail. Gaming was third. He was flat-footed as could be. He did not run a step. So, then the other two horses in the race were maiden. So, the old who did he beat? Well, not much, but, I shouldn't say that. Gaming's a pretty good horse that just didn't fire. But, as far as Journalism goes, if you're suspect of what was behind him, at least you can look at that and say, he beat him fairly easily. He beat him going away. He looked like a horse to me that wants to go longer. So I think those were all very good things. Of course, this horse is by Curlin. So there's distance there. There's distance on the dam side as well. So there's a lot to like about Journalism. I didn't rank him. I do have him in the top 5. I didn't rank him number 1 or number 2 or anything like that. But I do think he's a pretty nice horse that projects to get better as we go forward. Again, I was super disappointed in Gaming. You look at what he did there. He's much better than that. Getaway Car, I think that's pretty much what he is. He kind of ran his race, and Journalism was able to beat him. So for the two stakes races, Coal Battle in the Remington Park Springboard Mile got an 84 buyer speed figure, as did Speed King. And then Journalism was assigned an 87 buyer speed figure in that win. So, as far as the buyers go, a little bit higher for Journalism. If you're wondering, Getaway Car got an 82 and Gaming a 77. That is pretty incredible. He shows just how weak he performed, if you believe in the buyer speed figures. So Journalism and Coal Battle, the two winners of the preps. One other race, if you haven't watched it, you need to take a look at. It may have been the best one for 3-year-olds on the day. Go to the maiden special weight at Gulfstream Park on December 14th. It was race 9 on the card. Like I said, maiden special weight going 1 mile on the dirt. That's a 1-turn mile there at Gulfstream Park. 2 debut runners, one for Todd Pletcher, one for Brad Cox, kind of put on a show. Vassimo for Todd Pletcher, Rapture for Brad Cox. They were they were within a length of each other. Vassimo gets the job done and wins by a length. Rapture second. It was 13 3/4 lengths back to everybody else in this field. It was a field of 9, so there's some other runners that, some of them had experience. Some of them you thought, well, they might be decent. These two horses just galloped away. So if you haven't seen it yet, Vassimo takes over. Rapture comes up to try to make it a race, and Vassimo just holds Rapture at bay the entire time. I'm telling you, these two, even Rapture, who got second in this race, he was really good. Pretend Vasimo's not there. Rapture wins by a pole, right? So I would definitely keep an eye on both of these horses going forward. I would be shocked if we don't see these horses in stakes races. A Vasimo maybe next time out, or maybe a high allowance and then a stakes, and then Rapture maybe get the maiden broke and then go to a stakes. We're going to see these horses. That's the point. Don't know when or where, but we're going to see them in stakes races. Both of them pretty good on the breeding end of it as well. Vasimo is by Nyquist out of a pulpit mare. No problems there. I think we'll be able to stretch out and go the distance. Of course, Nyquist, a Kentucky Derby winner. So you've got that to kind of fall back on as well with the breeding. And Rapture, Rapture was a horse I had heard a lot about. And I thought it was very interesting that that he went to Gulfstream to debut for Brad Cox. He's by Uncle Mo out of a Bernardini mare. Once again, I mean, these are horses, they did well going a 1-turn mile. They project to be just fine when they stretch out going even longer. So I would keep a strong eye on those two. I think they're two horses that could be rising and could be rising up the ranks, I should say. All right. So that kind of recaps what happened last week. Let's fast forward to this week. There is one Kentucky Derby prep race. It is at Fairgrounds Saturday, December 21st, and it is the Gun Runner Stakes. Unfortunately, it's another field of 5. So another short field. That sucks. But it has Admiral Dennis in the race, a horse I'm pretty high on. That's, if you've been watching this, has been in the rankings. He was 5th at one point. Maybe he jumps back in. Luis Saez rode him last time. Going to ride him again this time. I thought that was a good sign. Asmussen's got a horse, Magnitude, that's not bad. Some other horses, Built, Render Judgment, and Chris's Revenge. That's the other 3 in the race. These horses aren't bad, right? I mean, but it is a small field of 5. We'll see what we can take from it. So that's the Gun Runner Stakes on Saturday. There's maiden special weights everywhere. That they can always pop up. Gulfstream, Fairgrounds, Oaklawn Park. Keep an eye out for those. We're keeping an eye out as well, and I'll throw them up here if I think it's necessary. We'll recap some maiden special weights if we need to next week as well. But all eyes on the Gun Runner this weekend at Fairgrounds. All right, let's go through the top 5 here. And like I said, we'll go number 5, Patch Adams, to get it going here. Another Brad Cox runner. We talked about Admiral Dennis. That's going to be in the Gun Runner. He was at number 5. It's who I had ranked at 5. I put Patch Adams at 5 after his runaway victory last time out at Churchill Downs. Really nice horse. Showed a lot of talent. I don't know exactly if it'll be Fairgrounds or Oaklawn that we see him next, but I think it'll be one of the two. So Patch Adams at number 5. He's obviously very good. We talked about it. Journalism will be number 4 for me. Put him in the top 5 for a few reasons. One, I kind of liked the ease with which he won the Los Alamitos Futurity. Like I said, once gaming didn't fire, he didn't have to beat much else, but he did it very easily. Also, you got to love the breeding. He's a Curlin by he's by Curlin out of an Uncle Mo mare. So, I mean, should be able to go long and have no troubles. Seems to be getting better with each start. So, number 4, Journalism. Number 3, Sovereignty, a horse that we've talked about a ton. Came out of a tough maiden special weight on Travers Day and then stretched out to a mile, got second, and then stretched out to 2 turns for the first time in a stakes race as a maiden and won easily. That was the Street Sense Stakes, easy for me to say, at Churchill Downs. So he's at number 3. Kind of just moving up by default is the number 2, East Avenue. And again, no chance in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, fell basically to his nose, barely was able to stand, got up though, did run, but, wasn't anywhere close to where he likes to be. Just didn't do any running at all, a total line through East Avenue. There's much better races to come for him. And then finally, the number 1 is Citizen Bull. And I seriously almost decided to kind of drop him, because as we go along here, we're starting to develop a little bit of a problem with the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, as in 3 horses have come back from the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, and none of them have been close to winning. So that is a big problem. Now, in the case of Getaway Car and Gaming, they just weren't good in that race. And that was the 2nd and the 4th place finishers. And then Jonathan's Way, he ran okay, but he was, kind of, again, nowhere to be found. I shouldn't say that. He wasn't close to winning the Kentucky Jockey Club. He was 2nd. He ran okay, but he really wasn't any match. And so, yeah, Getaway Car and Gaming, second and third in the Los Alamitos for Charity. Well, A, the two horses they beat are still maidens. And then B, they really weren't close. They were never threatening journalism. So it's a problem, right? I am at the point now where I'm ready to put somebody number one besides Citizen Bull, but I don't know who that is because I really, you kind of look at like journalism, for example. Okay, maybe we'll put him number one. You re-examine it and it's like he was okay, but he wasn't great. Poster, same thing. Okay, wasn't great. Coal Battle. I'm not going to put the Springboard Mile winner number one. So, he was just okay. He wasn't great, right? So I'm waiting for somebody to put number one other than Citizen Bull. But right now we'll keep him there as kind of a placeholder. But again, a Breeders' Cup Juvenile that we thought was pretty strong going in, coming out, it's kind of fallen apart a little bit. Now it's still early. There's still horses that could come back and run well, but as of right now, it doesn't look great. All right, let's recap it. Number 5, Patch Adams. Number 4, Journalism. Number 3, Sovereignty. Number 2, East Avenue. And number 1, Citizen Bull. All right, guys, that'll do it for the Kentucky Derby update for this week. We'll be right back here next week with another update. We'll break down the Gun Runner. We'll break down anything else that we need to as far as main special weights go. Won't be much of a look ahead. With Christmas coming up, a little bit of a shorter show. There won't be stakes races on the 28th of December that have Derby implications, but we'll kind of just go from there. So, all right, guys, that'll do it for this show. Thanks everybody for watching it. That like button if you like it, subscribe. You really like it, want to get alerted at any time we do videos like this. And most importantly, come back next week for another Kentucky Derby update.